This week's episode is sponsored by Logan Arch. Logan Arch is the place to go if you're looking for geeky accessories that also feel a little bit nostalgic. So Pokemon fans, there's definitely something for you. They have pins, apparel, bags, stickers, office goods, basically everything you could want. And it's all well-designed and nerdy and reminds you of your childhood faves, which is something I absolutely love. To start shopping, you can head to loganarchchicago.com or follow them online at loganarchchicago. Hello, welcome to the Sartorial Geek podcast. I'm Jordan Ellis of Jordan Danae, and I'm so excited that Jazzlyn Stone is back again.
Hi.
Hello. I guess I should also apologize in advance if either of us sound a little bit wild. Comic-Con is in a week from when we're recording, so I think I'm fine, but I might not sound fine.
I can tell my voice is leaving me, so if I sound a little more raspy than usual, it's not.
I'm not worried about my brain. If I just start asking questions that don't make sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Apologies in advance to everyone.
Yes, but that is why we're having this conversation before Comic-Con, so that you can hear it as Comic-Con starts, because we have something fun to talk about. But first, okay, so everyone listening probably knows Jazzlyn from either the episode that we recorded before talking about bombsheller things, or the huge interview article with you and Bombsheller in the spring.
The feature article, which I didn't know until you showed me the magazine, and I was like, oh wait, we're the feature? Oh no.
Which was funny because I was like, it's too late to panic. It's already out, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I had to deal with my panic on the inside.
Yeah, and it was great. Jenny wrote that, and she was incredible.
Yeah. Jenny was amazing.
Yeah. And then also you have taken over as a gaming contributor on sartorialgeek.com, which is so amazing because we've never had that before.
Yeah, which is surprising because it seems like such a ample opportunity. So I'm glad to be able to help you all there. And also thank you for letting me put my lots and lots of opinions about video games somewhere. I really appreciate it. It's good to have a lightning rod to send all that stuff.
Well, and I feel like either Liz or I has a decent handle on most things, or we can get in. Neither of us are huge anime fans, but we can watch enough to sort of get it. And gaming, we're both oh no, we don't know about this.
I feel like you game a lot, though. You play a lot of Nintendo games. You do D&D.
That's true. Tabletop, I'm way more versed in. Video games.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
anything that's more than left, right, up, down is not for me. Which is...
there are a few games that are... Maybe VR goes beyond that, but...
I mean, Stardew Valley was the only thing I did for 100 straight hours. That was exactly my gaming level.
No, that's amazing. It's a good game.
It's great. Okay, so all of those things, but then there's something very, very fun and cool that you're starting now.
I'm so
soon.
excited to be able to talk about it now. Actually, it feels good.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a hint that you have been working on something fun and cool, and now it's official. Now we can talk about it. Tell the people what it is.
Now we can talk about quality commodity. I'm so excited to be able to talk about it. This is amazing. I get to say it out loud. Quality commodity.
And there's a website up, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, we have a website. We're on Instagram and Twitter. So it is a marketing house for creatives, for independent creators.
So cool.
And we are looking to help, once you get your book out or get your art out, how do you market it past that? How do you connect with your fans? How do you find new fans? We're doing product photography, email campaigns, website, help, graphic design help. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for all things marketing.
Which,
So I'm very excited.
yeah, I mean, every single creator that I talk to who isn't also very interested in marketing, this is the biggest issue. Like, artists want to do their art, creators want to create their stuff, and then to like have to take a break and figure out MailChimp or like buy a light box or like figure out social media, that because some people love social media and some people hate it. So like most of us aren't either experts or super interested in all of those things, but you really do need them.
Yeah, especially today, especially if you're going to be an independent artist and have your own store. And I think we put a lot of expectations on independent artists. And we want, like, you know, something like I look to Andrea with her company, White Squirrel, and that's such an amazing company for artists to work with, because she'll run the store, she'll hold your inventory, she'll keep track of inventory, she can do Kickstarter like fulfillment, which is a monster. So I really look to her for inspiration on like, okay, how can we help independent creators? How can we help independent artists and kind of like, you know, fill some of these roles that they're expected to wear, some of these hats that they're expected to wear, because it's hard to create art and do customer service.
And it's hard to be really good at both. Like, most people can't be really good at everything. Like, if you put a bunch of energy into like learning, I don't know, the ins and outs of product photography, or
like understanding lighting is so hard.
Yeah.
Understanding lighting and being able to draw it is very hard. Yeah. Understanding lighting and being able to shoot it with a camera or your phone is like incredibly hard. And it's constantly changing. You know, there's a lot of like the modern customer is so educated and knows exactly what they want. And it's really hard for a smaller creator to keep up with that. Like, you know, you should have no less than 4 photos on your product photography. And it seems dumb to show the back of an enamel pin because everybody knows what the back of an enamel pin wants. But if you're buying that pin online, you want to know how many posts it comes with, what kind of backings it has, if it's like got a cute stamp with like the artist logo on the back. Like, you want to see that pin from all angles because buying online is hard. So I'm hoping to help alleviate some stress.
And also, yeah, and like you were saying, things change. Like, I used Shopify for Jordan today, and I just got an email like a week or two ago that was like, you can add 3D images and video now. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's cool, but I don't have either of those things. So now if I want to use that feature that came out of nowhere, you know, that's just a new thing I need to learn how to do. So not having to do that.
So that's not something that we're going to offer yet, but that is an avenue that I've thought about taking the company eventually, because it's available, but it's hard to do it well. And if you don't do it very well, it's very obviously fake.
Yeah, totally. No, there's so much that goes into like that side of I guess it's like the business side of being a creative that isn't necessarily what most creative people signed up for when they wanted to like be a comic book artist or be a writer or publish novels or create pins.
How do you have time? How do you have time to like write your graphic novel, much less like if you're also drawing it, and then take some photos of it? Because if you spend so much time trying to make the best product or trying to make the best t-shirt, and you spend all this time like with the different designs and like the placement, and then to not be able to show all of the work that went into that on the product photography is really just a disservice to both you and your customer.
Yeah.
I was a photographer. I still am a photographer, but I started as a photographer. So I have a lot of opinions specifically about that part of shopping and the online experience. So.
I mean, and if you do the route that I did, which is like try to do all of those things yourself, but then in order to be able to try well, you normally have to spend a lot on something like cameras or software or anything like that. And then you end up dumping a bunch of money into things that you may or may not be good at the end. But, you know, the number of like photo props and lighting kits and things I have from when I did it myself before I just started letting experts do it is so fun to think about.
But you learn so much about that, you know? And I'm sure that you take those things that you learned into other parts of your company. So like now, maybe from that experience, you're like, all right, well, maybe I don't have to do my own books forever. Like you learn where you can spend the money to save you time, which is like the most valuable resource for an independent business or creator is like saving time.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone's listening and already they're like, hi, yes, hello, I would like to do this. Are you taking clients already?
So we are doing it in stages. We have like what we're calling our first class, which is the artist it's going to be like our beta team of artists that we're working with. So you can apply for that on
Cool.
our website under contact. And we'll take a look at, we're pretty honest about what we can do. So if you're like, I want to get into the Scholastic, paper, it's like, well, I can't help you with that. But if you're like, I have this and, I'm not looking to do like PR, it's more about like marketing the products that you already have. I'll definitely help anyone with connections where I can, but it's not my forte. So if it's like, you have this book and it's coming out and you want to know maybe like what editors you should be, or not editors, but what like influencers you should be sending it to or how to market on social media, then that's really where we're going to shine. Especially if you have really fun things like spot gloss on your book. Like, I love shooting that stuff.
That's awesome. That's great too I have seen a lot of marketing companies and heard stories from people who like, it's not always the case that people are super honest about what they can and can't do. Like sometimes you can tell people just want clients and they're like, well, we'll tell you we can do this. And then like, that's not what we're going to give you. So that's great that you have like a very clear list of like, this is how we can help. And maybe we can like, give our advice on things, but like, you're not going to promise you can get someone a published book.
Yeah, I'll definitely help
like
you achieve those dreams if I can, but I don't think it does anyone a service to lie about what I'm capable and not capable of doing. Like, you're unhappy with us and,
no,
we feel bad
seriously.
about ourselves.
Yeah. No, I am super excited about this. And it's nice to have, like you're saying, a one-stop shop, because I think another thing that's really hard that I've had happen a lot is like, okay, I need 7 of these different things. So do I have to go like vet 7 different companies, like figure out that budget? And then if 3 of them work out, then I have half of what I need to get this project done. Like that's really nice to have everything in one place. And then also then you like the same team is doing everything. So it's not like, let me make sure my social team is talking to my like getting the right photos, and then let me make sure that's going on the website the right way. Like it is very, very nice to have it be together and cohesive. That's huge.
Thanks. Yeah. The other amazing thing about this is that it's, I'm starting it with an incredible team behind me. So Ivy Chen, incredible videographer and designer, Emily Gray, just a fantastic copywriter, and Stephen Kleiss, who is still my favorite photographer.
He's so great.
And we all work so well together. And so we all met at Bombsheller. And the thing that was so special about us 4 working together that felt like such a complete package was that we are really good at assessing an artist and their fan base and what makes their fan base excited. Like what draws you to your fans? What are they excited about? And then being able to kind of pull that out a little bit more so that it still feels authentic, because that's another, what I think independent artists today have over larger companies is the authenticity. That's why indie video games are doing so well, because AAA has really kind of burned those bridges. They don't feel authentic anymore. They don't necessarily care about their fans. It feels like, I should say. They'll put out a game, but it won't be completed. They're working their staff too much. But indie games, it's like, this is, a small team. They're doing what they can, and they're letting you in on the process. And I think moving forward, as we have a more like global market, that is really going to win for fans, because you want to have, when it comes to art especially, like, you want art that you feel connected to. You want to watch the artist create it. You want to see like, okay, this is the blueprint sketch, and then this is like it fully printed out on this like really nice glossy paper. Like, you want to be a part of that process. You want to have that connection to it. So I think being able to lean into that and but still like hold space for your fans in your marketing and being authentic is really going to give independent artists a leg over the larger companies as they keep eating each other and keep, becoming larger.
Yeah. And I think so many things about that are important. And like, I have seen how great you are at what you were saying. That's like, it's very, very personal. So you're not going to be like, here's our marketing package. Everyone gets like shoved through this system, whether it fits you or not. It's very like, what is special about what you're doing? And like, let's highlight that, because that's the thing that fans get already. And like, it's really, really valuable to have a marketing team that focuses on that, because that is your thing. That's what you should focus on.
I don't want to work with a small company or creator and try to like, I'm going to make you a star.
Right.
Right. Or rebrand them. I mean, I will for sure help with the rebranding. I'm good at that, but I don't want to force anybody into a box that they don't belong in. Right. Yeah. I just want to like zhuzh it up a little bit. Like, all right, like, let's, show your best photo of your best product, the situation.
And that goes to the authenticity. Like, you're taking something that's already there instead of like creating a story that doesn't exist, like trying to like we've all seen that happen when it's like, oh, that's your company's new story now. That doesn't match anything you've ever done. Yeah. Where did that come from?
Those hard
like a rebrand that's like a 180 in a weird way that you're like, oh, that's a different company now. Yeah. Okay, that's fine, I guess.
And that doesn't make you feel great, right? As like a consumer, you're like, oh, I want to alleviate stress from creators, not add stress. And I want to help them elevate all of the parts of themselves that are amazing, that are, helping them stand out, that maybe they just don't see or are very tired of, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is a skill or like a trick that I learned that I'm so thankful I did. And I think we've talked about this before. I talk to Robin about it all the time, that like listening to like the reviews that other people give you, or listening to what other people say about you, or listening to what your friends, like asking your friends or people who know you well what your strengths are. It's sometimes completely different than what you think. 'Cause like, we all have strange ideas about ourselves that are not necessarily what other people see. So like, that's really cool to like have a team doing that for you, because I think that's like one of the most valuable things.
Hold a mirror up, but like kind of guide you through what you're saying. Like, okay, this is what's working, and these are the places that we could do a little bit better, and these are the things that aren't necessarily working out, and we can, forget about them, rearrange those resources, or put them on pause for now. Marketing doesn't have to be so like aggressive, or so, maybe aggressive is not the word, but just false, right? Like, sometimes I feel like the internet has disrupted everything, but the way that we are all connected with each other, I feel like some of the larger companies are so slow to change, and they can't be agile, but the smaller companies can. So they can create and react to those trends on a dime, whereas larger companies can't.
Yeah. And like, I feel like every time we're on a panel together or something, it gets very emotional, but it's because branding has so much baggage. Like your company can have as much going on behind the scenes as like humans do. Like you can have baggage about the way that you like think you fit in the world.
Oh, I mean,
yeah. And so all of that stuff, having someone help you through that, because sometimes we don't even realize it. Like there are times I've made business decisions and other people are like, why? And then when I actually talk about it, I'm like, oh, it's because like I was feeling like we're too small. And so I'm trying to like look more popular, but I didn't even realize that when I did. Like stuff like that is so much of that happens.
And that's why I always recommend if you're trying to like run your own business, go to therapy, because it really plays into a lot of like all of the problems that you haven't been dealing with your whole life really come through when you're trying to like run a business.
Oh man, so much.
So I cannot help with that, but I strongly recommend.
I mean, even just that recommendation is huge. Like even just pointing out like, hey, so the reason this thing keeps coming up in your business, have you thought about, is there maybe something in your personal life that is bringing that up? Or like just being an advocate for therapy is huge.
Oh, forever.
Yeah.
I stand therapy.
Yeah. Me too. It's great. And I think I have seen, I mean, as a business owner and as a person with a lot of business owner friends or creative friends, anything that genuinely helps take things off our plates is incredible. Like, and I don't think I realized before I started doing this how much actually a single person has to do. Like I started writing I was like trying to get help with a job. And so I started writing down all of the things that are happening that I'm doing to like see what someone else could help with. And I was like, this is the most insane, like the things that I'm doing are not things that one single person should ever be doing. And I think a lot of us do that.
Yeah. And I think we compare ourselves a lot to larger, let's say, companies who, or even like artists or creators who have teams behind them, right? Yeah. They have full teams. They have help with, I mean, some of them even have like help with like hair and makeup, and then they'll take like an Instagram photo, but it's like a photographer taking that photo, and then you're comparing yourself to that. So one of the first bosses that indie creators, businesses, artists will kind of come up against is like comparing themselves and or asking for help.
Yeah.
I think that maybe it's just me, but that was a huge one for me to kind of contest with, because I'm very independent and I'm very much like I can do anything, which like I can, right, within reason, but also like asking for help is such a show of strength. So
also, yeah, just because you get assistance on something doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means like you don't have to do everything you can do all the time.
And like, I love marketing. Totally. I love photography. I love visuals and graphic design. And I love like creating campaigns. Like I love that stuff. I love the operations and the minutia of that kind of stuff. But maybe, you don't. And so it's like, all right, well, give me the stuff that I love to do anyway. And then you can do the stuff that you love to do. Like I cannot draw, but I'm so glad that you can. And I would love to help out in any way that I can.
I think that's awesome. I realized that I actually genuinely love social media. Like I don't really do the analytics part very much. So I can't, like if someone was like, when's the best time I should post on something? I can't do any of that, but I don't hate it. And a lot of people do, because I mean, there genuinely is a lot to hate about it, but that's one of the conversations I've had the most often. That's like, oh, the reason this is easier for me is because I just don't hate it. And like, but I don't like doing other things that you're good at. And so that's like kind of how it is great to have a team that can balance that. so that you can do more of the things you enjoy and
not to
less
name
of the
drop
things
again,
that have to get done. But like that someone else likes. That's really cool.
Girl, like she's so good at that. She's so good at customer service and inventory, which I've talked to some small businesses where just like keeping inventory up to date has like halted their company because it's not just counting. It's like there's a lot of parts to it. And especially when things are being sold online and that ticker can just like tick down, there's a lot of parts to it. So again, if I'll just plug White Squirrel because I love it so much. It's such a good idea.
No, you should. She'll be on the podcast sometime soon. I am obsessed with her. So like we should talk about how great that company is.
She's such a genius and she's helping so many people, and just Kickstarter fulfillment in and of itself is such a cluster. And anyway, Andrea DeMoncos, you're amazing. I worship the ground you walk on.
Yeah. And even like, so I, at this moment, have a shipping station, but there have been times when my business was smaller that I didn't. And there are tons of people I know who have like, who want to offer things for sale. But for me, printing 4 labels and then like tossing it in the bin that's already going to the post office is nothing. But if that's not part of your process, then like figuring out how much something weighs and then taking it, like getting a stamp and then getting packaging for it and then walking it or driving it to the post office, like there are things that are amazing about having like a whole system around that creators don't necessarily all have a shipping station and a photo corner and like all of the different parts. A lot of us don't even have like studios that are dedicated to our stuff. Like a lot of creators are working out of an apartment or like
I'm in Seattle where everything is very expensive. So I live in a 1-bedroom apartment and my office is literally our closet. We like turned our closet into an office and it is
I've sure done that before.
It is a normal small closet. I feel like Harry Potter, but it's like you do what you can with what you have, and there's no shame in that. Like, I love my office closet.
Yeah, no, but that's real though. Like that is how it's amazing when you get a team to like assist on something, because there are so many jobs that like learning how to do it start to finish versus having someone who does it all the time do it start to finish. It's like a completely different story.
Yeah. And it's cool because like things like Kickstarter and Patreon are really allowing so many more, players into the venue, I'll say. And, So there's a lot of new players, but it's great because it's, more opportunity and more like there are artists who do. So I don't listen to K-pop. I respect it. I don't listen to it. Just, haven't had time to get into it. But there are artists that I follow who exclusively do like K-pop, like drawings of like all the different bands, like kind of like a fashion editorial, but they're like drawn K-pop. And it's just like, that's not for me, but obviously there's a lot of people who are super into that. And so I love that we can go like so incredibly niche.
I think that is one of the coolest things. Like, I mean, it's because of the internet, but also because of all the other things that are happening, that there are books that are like mashups of 2 super, super niche audiences, and comics and makers. And you're right. Like those things wouldn't normally have been able to exist if you had to get like, if you had to fill out like a business plan and get a bank to give you a loan. Like we have so many.
And you were like, let's do an art book, but it's going to be like drawings of, pop bands from Korea. And they're like, I'm sorry. Like who's the audience for that?
Do a Kickstarter, right? And be like, the audience is these 1,500 people who really wanted it.
You're doing good stuff. But there's this really awesome artist in our company, and I think they're called Butts on Things, and they just draw like they're at Rose City every year. I adore them. They just draw like every object and with a butt. And it's like, can you imagine in the 80s with your shoulder pads walking into a bank and being like, okay, here's my business idea. It's gonna be
People are gonna love it, I promise. But they do. It's so great.
Yeah, they do. I see them at so many cons, and they always have a line, like they're killing it. So it's like niche markets, need niche marketing, and that's what I'm most excited about. I think, like, I want some truly challenging niches.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll get them, which will be fun.
Yeah, I want to have this. Putting it out into the world. Butts on Things. I want to try doing your marketing.
Yep. I don't know what just made me think of this, but so like when I started my business, it was 2011, so a while ago. And there were definitely people who were doing what I was doing, but it was like early enough days of the internet that I didn't really know how to find everyone. And so one of the things that was the hardest, on top of not really knowing what I was doing, so like having to learn all the skills that we've been talking about for myself, because I definitely couldn't afford, like at that point, I would have only known how to go to like a social media like agency, and I never could have afforded that, and they wouldn't have understood my niche anyway. But the other thing that was so huge is like finding a team of people to like be on your team. And that took a really long time to find like peers in my business or people to be, who understand the industry to help me. And that's been huge. And I think that's something that's really cool about working with a group like you. Like, you're not going to take on a client that everyone on your team isn't going to like fully support. And that's that's like invaluable, having people who are like, we're all brains, like helping you figure this out.
Because the good and bad cornerstone to the company, I would say, is that we have to be passionate about it so that we can kind of use your passion and your fans' passion. Like, we also have to be excited about it. Luckily, I get excited about a huge variety of things. Even, things that I'm not into, such as aforementioned K-pop, fan design. But I love that it's a thing, and I love that it's out there, and I want to be able to support that, because like I think it's important to find your group, to find your niche. We all, especially with kind of nerdier or companies, or more like niche companies, we're also used to, oh, that's weird, or like, okay, or like if anyone frequented Hot Topic as a teen, I'm sure you were like, nobody gets me. So it's I think it's really I'm excited to be able to support some of those companies, some of those creators who are like, nobody gets me, because I'd like to get you.
And completely honestly, as someone who has spent a lot of the past 8 years looking for marketing teams that I felt like I could work with who actually got me, because I've done my fair share of intro meetings with a company where I explain what I do, and they give me like their first round ideas, and I'm like, oh, you don't understand what this is at all. Like, you totally don't get what I'm doing.
Does that feel invaluate? What's it called? Does that feel like it kind of belittles what you're doing, or does that make you feel?
It's more, I have felt more like I can never get help for this because no one gets it. Like, I've had people be like, oh, you do nerdy shirts? Like, put this license, I don't know, like physics formula on it or something. And I'm like, oh, I get why yes, that's not it though. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, where it's like, oh, go like talk to like math professors. Like, I could and should, that's cool. But if that's your idea of like how to help me with marketing, then you can't help me. Like, that's not someone who understands Comic-Cons. Like, that is a huge part of nerdy businesses that like if people don't understand what cons are and what they're like and what the culture is and what that experience is, it's really, really hard for them to help well. Like there's so much about like niche industries and specifically the arts and indie and nerdy niches that I feel like it's really hard to find a good match. And I'm really, really happy that there is going to be a good, like, oh man, the amount of time and struggle that I could have saved if I had met you so much sooner. And this existed so much sooner. Like, because I had to learn all that myself. Like, I remember it was a lot of puzzle piecing. Like, it was like, oh, I met one friend that has sold at some Comic-Cons before. I'm going to, like, get as much as she'll give me about, like, how this works. And then I have a different friend who's great at product photography. But it was all, like, cobbling together this, like, sort of puzzle piece of a plan, which was fine, but not having to do that sounds so great.
Well, for you. You're doing very well.
Oh man, I don't know how, but I'll take it. Thank you.
Don't pause. You are doing very well.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think I've gotten very, very lucky, and I think the way it worked out for me, I'm really, really grateful that it did, and I don't know how like repeatable that is. So it's very nice to like have something to offer that isn't like, I don't know, hopefully meet a lot of cool people who will be nice to you and help you figure things out, and then good luck if you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that though. I feel like, people are like, oh, how did you get to where you are? And it's like, I don't know how to repeat that. Just keep being resilient and keep trying and keep getting up and get knocked down, man.
There are like bonus things when companies like yours pop up, and it's like, okay, that will make it a little bit easier for people, which is great.
That's stress. Take off just a couple of those hats that you gotta wear.
And give it to some real experts. Like, you guys are great at what you do.
Thank you. Yeah. Man, I'm so lucky to work with these three. They are just so talented, and I'm excited. We do good work together. We're good.
It's very cool too. Like, for anyone who knew your team at Bombsheller, it's very, very cool that you're doing something together again.
Hopefully we go into Comic-Con. Oh man, I will be at Comic-Con though. I'm going to be doing a couple panels about business and fandom, and I'm going to be at the Wicked party on Saturday. The Wicked and the Divine party on Saturday. So if you see me around, I will likely be wearing a turquoise blazer. Come say hello, and I would love to talk. I truly, truly, truly love talking to people about their art and their projects and what they get excited about. So come say hello.
And you keep your like personal appearances and panels and stuff at the Jazzlyn Stone website, right?
Yeah. So I can be found at Jazzlyn Stone on Instagram and Twitter. Quality Commodity can be found at Quality Commodity and then .com. QualityCommodity.com, JazzlynStone.com.
Yeah, very easy to find, which is great. You do a very good job of like actually updating your things, which is awesome. Like, you actually have your event list or your panel list up and things, so that's great. It's not like 6 years old.
Because then later when I'm like, where am I supposed to be? I'll just like look at my social media and be like, that's where I'm supposed to be. So it helps them, but it also helps me probably more than anyone else.
I have looked at my Instagram story highlight that has my panel list so many times already. It's
live and die by those Instagram highlights.
Yep. Oh my God. Thank you so much for talking about this. I'm so excited. Like, I'm so excited for this to exist.
Yeah, thanks for letting me kind of debut it on your podcast. I feel very good about being able to talk about it now. So thank you everyone for letting me take my first baby steps into talking about Quality Commodity. And thank you so much, Jordan. You're killing it. You're doing great stuff.
Thank you. If anyone's going to be at New York, please come say hi to both of us. We'll be there hanging out. And we'll be at more cons for the rest of the year and next year. So Jazzlyn and I are around for sure.
Forever and ever.
So follow Jazzlyn online. And if you were listening to this and thinking that you really need help taking off some of those hats, please get on the list or like apply for the beta. That would be really, really cool. And thanks for listening, and subscribe if you like, leave a review if you like, follow us on the internet if you like, and have a great week. Stay nerdy. Talk to you later.